clearly have far more important things to talk about, but please allow us to ease you into today's episode by very quickly bringing you up to speed on the rocket ship that smashed through the world's highest glass ceiling as female heroes like singer Katy Perry and Jeff Bezos' girlfriend, Lauren Sanchez, were blasted into space so they could float around and collectively experience a massive dopamine rush while bouncing around in a pod before ultimately returning to Earth a few minutes later to let all of us slack-jawed yokels know what it's like to see our planet from above. They should have sent a poet. Well, they're trying, and Katy Perry will have to do.
But it wasn't just Perry and Sanchez, because Bezos, he needed some plausible deniability if things happen to go wrong.
Yeah.
Which would make it look as though he intentionally, permanently sent his fiancée to the indifferent stars above, and Katy Perry too.
Yeah.
So CBS News anchor Gayle King was also on board, but before she got strapped in, you could see her looking more human than maybe any other person faced with rocketing into space.
Yeah, she looked absolutely terrified. She could not mask how scared she was, which is the first time I've kind of seen someone crack. Like, people are nervous, but they usually hold it together. She looked like she was walking to the executioner.
Yeah, I mean, like, I'd say maybe 30% of the population won't even get on a fucking roller coaster.
And she admittedly is like, I don't even like flying. So hell of a thing to jump to. I mean, she really looked like she was facing certain death and just blindly went into it hoping for the best. Even Oprah Winfrey had to give her a pep talk beforehand.
Yeah.
Like, this is bigger than you. Mm-hmm. Essentially being like, if you die, it's going to be worth it.
Will it though? Like, it's so...
No, I have already forgotten about this space launch. So the all-female crew did have some notable passengers who aren't getting as much recognition, so we're going to give them their due. Elliot, please tell the people.
Amanda Nguyen is a scientist and activist who was also Time's Woman of the Year. And Aisha Bao, a former NASA rocket scientist, she was on board.
There you go.
As for the celebs in space, well, this is why you send them. What did they have to say?
We sent the poets, finally.
So here's NPR. Sanchez was visibly emotional after exiting the capsule, saying she didn't have the words to describe her experience.
Oh!
Lauren, that's what we sent you to do.
Yeah.
It's your one job. She reflected on how quiet, but really alive the Earth looked, saying it made her think about how we're all in this together.
Are we, Lauren?
Thank you, Lauren.
Yeah.
Gayle King said, it's oddly quiet when you get up there. It's really quiet and peaceful. And you look down on the planet and think, that's where we came from? To me, it's such a reminder about how we need to do better, be better.
And Gayle then said that Katy Perry broke through that silent serenity with a rendition of Roar. No, just kidding. Though apparently that was requested, which would have been absolutely insane.
Can you imagine you're enjoying your...
It's gonna hear me roar.
I mean, they were up there in 0G for like 1 minute, I think. So imagine you're enjoying this once-in-a-lifetime experience, and then Katy Perry just belts one out.
It would have been incredible if she had done a 1 minute medley of all of her songs, all of her hit songs, especially for the scientists in the... Who, by the way, we're bringing experiments up there to do for students and stuff like that. But no, she did sing, but she sang...
I hope she didn't sing Firework.
No,
you don't want to hear that when you're on a rocket.
She sang What a Wonderful World, which is fine, and I'm sure that they appreciated it. But damn, if I only had a minute or a couple minutes up there, I would put in some noise-canceling headphones if that happened. And just, please, let me ponder in peace. This is my one chance.
If I was up there, I would put on one of my favorite YouTube shows and watch that on my phone.
That's right. Internet Today.
Yeah.
Now, if I had been up there, things would have gone down different.
That's right.
We would have been watching YouTube videos because that is a sign of respect from an adult man.
Lauren, stop looking at the Earth. Look at this.
Yeah. This goat screams. Anyways, Perry came down and uttered a bunch of millennial gobbledygook about making space in space for space.
Holding space.
Holding space in space.
Yeah.
Here's the AP. It's not about me. It's not about singing my songs, Perry said, following the flight. It's about a collective energy in there. It's about us. At a news conference later, she stressed, we weren't just taking up space. We were making space for the future. Okay, calm down. Again, benefit of the doubt. They all basically got high on brain chemicals up there. That is what happens. if you're gonna get like a dopamine or whatever rush, it's gonna happen on a rocket launch.
Yeah, I mean, but after the William Shatner one, like, I don't know. I feel like they could have picked. I mean, I don't know who the female version of William Shatner is. Does that person even exist?
Betty White passed away, but that would have been a close one.
First person to die
Of natural causes
in space.
Yeah.
It's never happened before.
She also, by the way, Katy Perry, she said her experience has inspired her to write a song. Which, I mean, that is a hell of a lot of pressure to put on yourself.
You know,
because what if it sucks shit?
I was up there and I was thinking, I need to call up Dr. Luke. We need to get back to the studio.
Oh, no.
Luke, it's time.
But, like, okay, imagine you're she's a singer, songwriter, whatever you want to say, pop star. But imagine you're a musician who fucking goes to space on a rocket, an actual rocket in sort of space. And you're like, you know what? This has inspired me to write a song. And I am just very curious as to what that song is, especially from Katy Perry.
I'm sure we'll find out.
Yeah. Anyways,
Or maybe we won't.
we might not. Despite the recent, poets blasting into space, I do have to say that nothing beats High Flight by John Maggie Jr. And he didn't even go to space. He barely got into the war.
I don't know who that is. So
he basically wrote the poem Touching the Face of God that a lot of the Apollo astronauts,
oh, that guy.
they would read.
I see. Yes.
Mhm. So he can't. So far, hasn't been topped.
Yeah.
And he didn't even go to space.
Well, if that's what the Quest 2 solves. The Quest 2 solves that.
If you put
we
on
can all go to space.
Mark Zuckerberg's headset,
And the Quest 2.
you can see what it's like to be Gayle King looking down and pondering your entire life and what led you to this point. And then Katy Perry,
Yeah.
me, ah.
Yeah, and then-
What a wonderful world.
Ugandan Knuckles is up there with you. And yeah, that's the way to do it, I think.
Yeah.
But back down here on Earth,
Mm-hmm.
the Trump administration blatantly defied an order from the Supreme Court. What? And they officially threw the whole country into the third or fourth constitutional crisis just this year.
Yeah. Do you have maybe a fifth constitutional crisis on your bingo card? Because get that stamp ready.
Those other ones also all ongoing, all concurrent.
Yes.
It's not like
No.
a new one. Yeah. So anyway, late last week, the court ordered Trump to facilitate the return of Kilmar Abrego Garcia, the guy who was abducted off the streets and sent to a Salvadoran prison despite having committed no crimes and having no gang affiliations and being here perfectly legally. The Supreme Court ruled unanimously last Thursday that what the administration did was illegal and Garcia needed to be returned.
Mm-hmm.
Trump, at that point, stated that he would respect the Supreme Court's wishes. Wink, wink. But by Saturday, he publicly defied the order by saying, actually, he's under no obligation to bring Garcia back and that, well, essentially, he belongs to El Salvador. Why don't you ask them?
Mm-hmm.
And funny timing on that.
Yeah, just perfect timing.
I don't know if you'll ever get a chance to ask the leader of El Salvador about that.
Yeah, maybe you could ask him directly if maybe he would like to help the Trump administration abide by this Supreme Court order.
So Trump posted on Truth Social shortly after the State Department confirmed that Garcia is still alive, saying, "These barbarians are now in the sole custody of El Salvador, a proud and sovereign nation, and their future is up to President Bukele and his government. They will never threaten or menace our citizens again." Talking about a guy who
Did nothing.
wrong.
Actually escaped violence.
Has been, and I think we need to be clear on this because like no one, I don't care. No one who's even committed a crime should be getting black bagged and sent to a prison in another country with no fucking due process.
Yeah, I mentioned it a little bit later, but none of these people that specifically in a lot of the news stories we've been talking about have been deported. They've been disappeared. Deportation is a legal process. They have not. They've been denied that legal process.
I'm saying even if they are criminals,
yeah, they've been.
You can't
treated
the fact
they're not human beings.
The fact that they have no criminal past at all, like really just it rubs salt in the wound. But like this shouldn't. Even if they were criminals, you don't. This isn't what we fucking do. We have a justice system for a reason.
Yeah. But any glimmers of hope that the administration would actually listen to the Supreme Court and return this wrongfully deported individual, again, not really deported, disappeared, were dashed on Monday when Salvadoran President Bukele arrived at the White House for a meeting with Trump, some questions from the press, which also included a confirmation that he has zero intention to return anyone to the United States, regardless of what the Supreme Court says, because they don't have jurisdiction over him.
I mean, the question was preposterous. How can I smuggle a terrorist into the United States? I don't have the power to return him to the United States.
Weird. Okay.
Yeah, damn, that is bizarrely convenient.
But like, you're both here. You're both sitting
maybe
on
you
the
can work
couch.
something out.
Nah.
Yeah. But yeah, in addition to that, there was also a brief but worrying mention from Trump that he is very interested in also sending United States citizens down to the concentration camps in El Salvador as well.
Yeah, I said homegrowns are next. The homegrowns built. You got to build about 5 more places.
Yeah, that's fair.
So with more on this, here's Rolling Stone. President Donald Trump welcomed El Salvador's president and self-proclaimed world's coolest dictator, Nayib Bukele, to the White House on Monday. While taking questions from the press in the Oval Office, Bukele said he would not return Kilmar Abrego Garcia to the United States. Trump, meanwhile, lashed out at the press for asking about Abrego Garcia's return and expressed interest in sending American citizens to El Salvador's prisons.
How long do we have to answer this question? Trump griped to CNN's Caitlin Collins. Why don't you just say, isn't it wonderful that we're keeping criminals out of our country? Why can't you just say that? That's why no one watches you anymore. Ugh. The reporting adds that on Sunday, the Trump administration claimed it had no responsibility to facilitate the return of Abrego Garcia to the U.S., despite that order from the Supreme Court. Abrego Garcia has never been charged or convicted of any crime, much less a gang-related one. Bukele also said that he would not help smuggle a terrorist into the United States when asked if he would allow Abrego Garcia to be released from El Salvador's custody. I don't have the power to return him to the United States, Bukele said of the man currently trapped in his own prison system. Attorney General Pam Bondi also lied about Abrego Garcia's situation, telling reporters that he was an MS-13 member who was illegally in the United States. Not true.
As for Trump saying plainly that he would also like to send some United States citizens down to these prisons, don't worry. Everyone, I know you're getting worried. Don't worry. Because everyone says that this is illegal. He can't do that.
Oh.
So yeah, obviously that means he cannot do it because it's illegal, Elliot. But maybe no one's been paying attention.
Yeah.
Maybe you, faithful watcher, have even disassociated during the last story or this story. But we just told you how Trump is already defying the fucking Supreme Court. We have to stop saying that things are illegal and start enforcing the laws that this administration has already flagrantly and intentionally broken. But here's the AP with more on Trump saying that citizens are next. President Donald Trump on Monday reiterated that he'd like to send U.S. citizens who commit violent crimes to prison in El Salvador, telling that country's president, Nayib Bukele, that he'd have to build 5 more places to hold the potential new arrivals. Trump on Monday insisted these would just be violent people, implying they would be those already convicted of crimes in the United States, though he's also floated it as a punishment for those who attack Tesla dealerships to protest his administration and its patron billionaire, Elon Musk.
Well, we've had a good run.
Yeah.
I think that's it.
Oh, baby, El
That's
Salvador's a calling.
This is, America is sort of done, I think. Like,
If you look at it based on what it was founded on,
yeah, I mean, obviously, but like, this is just blatantly unconstitutional. And I mean, even the way it's being talked about, just like, oh, we're assuming he's talking about like convicted criminals.
that's
like, I don't know. I
the
feel
other
like,
problem is that the media is doing so much work for him.
Yeah.
And trying to reverse engineer whatever he says.
yeah, no, just it's blatantly illegal. You can't do this. There's reasons you can't do this. This is like, I saw today, like Thomas Jefferson, just a bunch of quotes from the Declaration of Independence that are all directly things that Trump is currently doing. Like, we fought a war of independence because we had a ruler who was not accountable and didn't follow any set of rules.
Not only is everyone who points this out or raises a fuss about this made to look absolutely fucking insane, in a lot of cases, they are personally attacked and in some cases arrested. So yeah, anyways, here's the article very calmly letting everyone know that don't worry, this is against the law.
Yeah, that's illegal. You can't do that.
And we should point out that they preface this argument with the fact that, quote, immigrants can be deported legally. But that's already not happening. That's not what
No one's being deported.
They're not being deported. They aren't going through the legal process at all. They are being disappeared off the streets and sent to out of the country before anyone can do anything or even check to make sure that they are somehow here illegally or have broken a law. But here's their very frustrating legal explainer. Immigrants can be deported from the United States, while citizens cannot. Deportation is covered by immigration law, which does not apply to U.S. citizens. Part of being a citizen means you cannot be forcibly sent to another country.
Oh, okay, I guess I'll just stop worrying about that.
Great, thanks. I'm sure everyone feels better now knowing that it's illegal.
Yeah.
Therefore, Trump can't do it.
Even if he wanted to. You check the rule book and be like,
Sir, sorry. It
dog
says
can't
here.
play basketball.
Yeah. Airbud, you're going to the gravel pit.
Yep. Jesus Christ. Anyway, as for the stupid stock market, yeah, that's still happening. We literally could not explain the flip-flopping of the tariffs and what is exempt and what isn't, because that information changes by the minute at this point. And even when it does, it's never accurate, because Trump always seems to contradict any statements from his own officials who are desperately attempting to spin this on every news show they go on. There's no straight story here.
There's economic advisors and officials that are going on news shows and trying, again, to reverse engineer what he says and make it make sense to the American public so that they can convince people that this is a good idea, which it's not. And then Trump immediately watches that and goes, no, that's not true.
Yeah, it's
a real mess.
So yeah, the market's all over the place. Some electronic components have been spared. Some automakers as well.
Who knows?
Some countries not.
Some countries are being tariffed more than before.
All of this is causing a massive shockwave across the U.S. economy, and consumer sentiment has dropped to its lowest levels since the pandemic, which is not great. But if all of this chaos had you questioning Trump's mental and physical prowess, well, have no fear, because his medical doctor, Dr. BernieChella, has confirmed that Trump has the body of a professional football player and the mind of, the opposite of a professional football player.
Yeah.
What's the opposite of CTE?
CT me. I got the biggest brain on earth. According to his personal White House physician, Donald Trump is an astonishing 6'3" tall and 224 pounds. And for reference, people have obviously been pointing out that NFL player DK Metcalf is also 6'3" and 226. And just the photo, I mean, come on. It's obviously a blatant lie. But aside from this blatant lie, there's also a few more odds and ends, including the fact that Trump apparently, his cholesterol levels are not just normal, but exceedingly good.
Oh, yeah, totally. A fucking 80-year-old white man is always going to have excellent cholesterol.
Eating McDonald's for every meal or something awful, to the point where in the last administration, the White House chefs admitted to hiding, mixing in vegetables with his mashed potatoes. Like other vegetables, they were putting in cauliflower and stuff like that to try to get him to have anything that would benefit his health. But no, of course his cholesterol. My cholesterol's not good, and I fucking run every day, and it's a challenge to keep it in normal levels.
It's just sort of...
And I eat okay, too.
It's an age thing.
But here were some details that you wouldn't think to find on a normal physical. Here, take this note.
Not a normal man.
Take this note, for example. Trump's active lifestyle continues to contribute significantly to his well-being. President Trump's days include participation in multiple meetings, public appearances, press availability, and frequent victories in golf events. So there you go. Obviously, he's in great shape. He wins every single golf tournament that he enters. Only a top athlete at peak physical performance, like Rory McIlroy.
He had a bad weekend.
Rory McIlroy. Everybody knows how to pronounce that name, Rory McIlroy.
I'm not going to correct you.
So, a great job, Mr. President. A physical appearance that we should all strive to emulate.
Yeah, that's what peak performance looks like. You may not like it, but folks, it is.
That's what it is. Yeah, and as always, everyone definitely believes that Mr. Trump wins every single tournament that he enters, and that he is one of, if not the best golfers to ever walk the planet.
Yeah.
I mean, if you thought Tiger Woods was good, get a load of another guy from South Florida.
Yeah. And this guy, he's white.
He's white. It's a reference of the Elvis movie.
Yeah.
Anyways, today we do have more news, but first we have to take a second to thank a new sponsor. And folks, you're never going to guess. It's a razor that's going to change your life.
Yeah.
Our sponsor today is House of Atlas, a brand new razor company that just hit the market. And they sent us their new razors to try out. And honestly, not only is it the nicest looking razor that I have ever owned, more importantly, it shaves my face great thanks to its 5 high quality blades and high performance serum strip. Plus, they gave me their shave cream and aftershave to try out, and after putting it on, I really wish I had somewhere more exciting or interesting to be than on the couch. I said, I'm smelling good. I gotta be strutting good. And I walked right over to the couch and played Path of Exile 2.
I used it to shave my head this weekend, and I usually scuff up my dome a little bit, and I looked in the mirror and I was like, what?
Wait a second. That's beautiful.
Clean cut.
That's right.
Now, obviously, the razor looks great. It has sleek design, but it's also easy to hold and maneuver with a nice weight to it. The blade head has 5 US-made stainless steel blades that glide right through your facial or head hair or wherever you're trying to shave. It has a high-performance serum strip that's infused with ingredients like aloe, vitamin E, and shea butter, which reduces irritation and it helps prevent ingrown hairs. Coolest part is the precision trim edge that's revealed by flipping back the serum strip for straight edges and detailing. Their shave cream is an ultra-thick formula that shows you exactly where you need to be shaving and leaves your skin baby bottom soft. Their premium razor kits come with a magnetic storage hook that you can attach to your bathroom mirror or medicine cabinet for easy storage.
And right now, for a limited time, they are offering 15% off your first order when you purchase any razor kit and the before and after set, which includes the precision shave cream and calming aftershave. Use code ITDaily, all one word, at houseofatlas.com. That is HOUSEOFATLAS.com with promo code ITDaily for 15% off your new razor kit and before and after set. Stop wasting money and time on shaving products that don't look good, aren't effective, and cost way too much. Visit houseofatlas.com today. Trust me, you'll love it as much as we did.
All right, back into the news now, and oh, good. Yes, there's more Trump stuff, but we're gonna give you a slight break before we get into the rest of that garbage and treat you with some delicious schadenfreude involving a Cybertruck owner instead.
Yeah.
Vanessa Voss, seen here with a face as angular as the truck that she's stuck with, purchased the Cybertruck as an investment for her business. And okay, first, we're not saying that this lady was doing a little tax avoidance thing by claiming this car as a deductible, but it's certainly something that a lot of other people have done. And no, she said that she bought it to advertise her business, but that she's received so many threats online and over the phone that
She's regretted purchasing what looks like a military vehicle crossed with a dumpster and then sold it as a loss to save face?
No. No, she did actually the most rational thing possible. She spent an additional $500 on self-defense courses for her and her employees and instructed them to be vigilant. We must defend this truck.
Yes.
So yeah, okay, we're just going to read the essay that she wrote for Business Insider, who ran the piece while presumably saying, not sure why someone would tell on themselves like this, but who are we to stand in Vanessa Voss's way?
Yeah.
Here she is in her own words.
Last year, we purchased a Cybertruck for solely business purposes. IRS, if you're reading. Stop right there.
This seems like something a lawyer insisted that she put right at the top of her statement.
I want to preface this article by saying I have committed no crimes. Last year, we purchased a Cybertruck for solely business purposes. It has our logo and branding on it, along with my photo on the front.
What?
I'm the owner of Voss Insurance Group, an agency that helps people navigate retirement and transition to Medicare. Part of what my agency does is a lot of branding and advertising related to the enrollment and Medicare process by offering free guidance and local services. The purchase was made before people set Cybertrucks on fire or took strong political stances on Tesla.
Has anyone set a Cybertruck on fire? Is that a thing that's happened?
Cybertrucks have set themselves on fire,
Yeah,
but I
of
don't
course.
believe they've been set
Yeah,
on
I feel like I would have heard about that. People have spray painted dicks on them.
Yeah, I think the one defense they have is that you really can't break the windows, especially with a glass bottle or something that you would want to throw.
Oh, sure. Yeah, those windows are indestructible.
Well, they were destroyed the first time, but anyways, the edges of the vehicle are flat, and it allows for enough description and visual components to increase our branding. Oh, shut up!
Okay.
First of all, Elon showed his whole ass before the Cybertruck was even announced, but absolutely solidified himself as a total piece of shit well before anyone was forced to take delivery of a Cybertruck.
It doesn't even sound like she's really doing the, like, I bought this before Elon went crazy thing. She's just doing, I bought this before it made me a target.
Yeah, it's very telling. So, but clearly that excuse, which was half-assed, is bullshit. And also this business, if I saw a Medicare advice advertisement on a goddamn Cybertruck, I would just block the number out of principle.
Also, I feel like it would be bad advertising because the Cybertruck is very closely associated with the man personally making it like harder for seniors to get their health care.
Yeah.
Like dismantling the services that this person is trying to provide them with. I don't know.
Yeah,
Mixed messages.
A lot of people have pointed that out to her, and she does mention it, but in a very odd way. But yeah, if I was a senior and saw a advertisement on a Cybertruck offering free services, I would immediately be suspicious.
Yeah.
But then again, they do prey on the elderly. Not saying she did, but some people do.
Every branded Cybertruck I've seen in LA, like the company that it's advertising seems fake.
Yes.
Seems suspicious.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Like not just because of the Cybertruck, just like the brand
In general,
like,
yes.
I don't know. This is
Did you see like a fucking rubber nipples company or something?
yeah, that was the first wrapped Cybertruck I saw. This was like at this point almost 2 years ago.
They literally, that's a joke from Ren and Stimpy. There's a guy that goes door to door selling rubber nipples.
So they were, yeah, it's literally we have rubber nipples for like that. The baby bottle's already for a baby they can't tell.
Yeah.
But this was selling a bottle that is like literally like they did a plaster cast, it seems, of an actual woman's breast, and you can buy this baby bottle for like 10 times the cost of a normal baby bottle.
Well, could you believe I was in the market for that? And luckily, a Cybertruck decided to drive by.
Yeah, no,
Instead of running targeted ads in the world's biggest spying operation, Facebook,
Yeah.
you buy a fucking $110,000 truck and put a fake tit on the side of it.
that's you get them. You first they see the truck and they smile, and then they see what you're selling and they pull out their wallets.
Yeah, they see the truck and that starts thinking. They start thinking about, how can I own a truck like that?
Whatever this person did, must be moral and good for society as a whole.
And not only that, I want to be in business with them.
Anyway, story continues.
Yeah.
As of 2 weeks ago, we have been harassed online, over the phone, and via email for having a Cybertruck. Now, me and my business are under attack. The very first phone call that I received was from a gentleman saying that he was going to kill me. The blocked caller also told me that I am a Nazi, cussed me out, and said I should kill myself. That day, I received a total of 12 phone calls, some of which were blocked and others that weren't. The callers leave voicemails saying I should be embarrassed, that we need to take the trash out, and that I'm going to need a warranty because something is going to happen to it. We also received 3 really terrible Google reviews and 2 on Yelp. We spent hours trying to get them removed, and eventually were able to. Okay, I mean, listen, yeah.
You don't review bomb people.
Oh yeah, I mean, like, yeah, it sounds like she was harassed, but also like 12 phone calls and 5 reviews, like put her in the newspaper. Oh my God.
It is strange because when this typically happens,
Doesn't seem like a lot.
Two things. When this typically happens, it's usually an absurd amount of review bombing. Second of all, when this typically happens on a small scale like this, you don't run to a national outlet and then tell your whole story about it, thus inviting even more criticism.
I get probably 100 unwanted phone calls every day.
Uh-huh.
And I get at least 5 comments on every YouTube video I publish of people telling me to shut up, libtard.
Yeah.
So like, where's my newspaper article?
Sir, you've won a free Cybertruck.
Anyway, we should read the review, one of the reviews that she got, because they did try to explain why this sucks for her personally.
Yeah.
Or specifically. Hannah C. said, these dumbasses are wasting money on Cybertrucks, which is ironic considering Muskie Boy is trying to get rid of Medicare. Like we said.
Mm-hmm. And yeah,
mixed messages.
Actually, you'd have to wonder how this business has enough cash to dump on a Cybertruck when they're just trying to help out all these old people.
Yeah.
Anyways, instead of selling the truck, which is obviously next to impossible without incurring incredible financial loss at this
They're
point.
not accepting them as trade-ins anymore.
And no one's insuring them. You can't trade them in. No one's buying them. Even CarMax won't touch them. But yes, instead of, I don't know, donating it somewhere, donate it to NPR. They need all the money they can get.
I think they might say no too.
They're still taking regular tests.
There's a good like obviously fake website right now. Like I think it's like stealmytesla.com.
Jesus.
And it's like offering a fake service of like having trouble getting rid of that Tesla. Like just give us your information. We'll come
The
and
amount
steal
of
it from you.
insurance fraud that's going to happen with these things, if they can get insured at all, is going to be insane. But anyways, instead of selling it or whatever, she decided to get some self-defense training. She continues, soon after the harassment began, I paid $436 for a 2-hour self-defense session.
Oh yeah, now she knows.
We had a conversation about protecting ourselves in the office and leaving before it's dark. We also made sure to tint the windows in the Cybertruck so people can't physically see us, although my husband is the one who drives it.
So the tint of shame is also a new but hilarious addition to most Cybertrucks. which
Yeah, I've been noticing it more and more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very funny, but here's how she ends the essay in true best truck I've ever owned fashion. I haven't considered selling the Cybertruck because it takes a whole lot of courage to consistently grow and work and strive really hard to be successful in business and help the community. I am not one that will be bullied. I'm just not going to allow a group of people to bully me into actually trading in my vehicle. Again, don't fucking threaten Tesla owners, you dipshits. Cut that out. As we have said and will continue to say, a friendly but meaningful thumbs down out the window.
Yeah.
That's really all it takes to ruin someone's day when they're behind the wheel of their own personal money pit.
They already feel bad about owning it. I guarantee it by
They
now.
can't sue you for it. They can't call the cops on it.
And they have to sit there in the bad decision they've made and take it. It's quite
They just
satisfying.
have to sit there and just contemplate the fact that they are persona non grata.
The
out on
unfortunate
road.
but inevitable end to all of this is that every Cybertruck that exists will be militarized and fully in the ownership of every police department in the United States. They've already done it, obviously, in a lot of cases, but that's where all the leftover Cybertrucks are going to end up.
Yeah.
And they're going to end up in fucking El Salvador and elsewhere.
God.
But unfortunately, we're back to Trump.
No!
But this is the story that's been coming. It's been a long time coming. Finally, too little too late, one of the most prominent schools in the country has decided to stand up against the Trump administration, and they said that they will not comply with his ridiculous demands. And of course, Trump has punished them severely for doing so. Harvard President Alan Garber issued a statement on Monday that said, among other things, that the university will not surrender its independence or relinquish its constitutional rights. No government, regardless of which party is in power, should dictate what private universities can teach, whom they can admit and hire, and which areas of study and inquiry they can pursue. The Harvard Gazette adds that Garber's message was a response to a letter sent late Friday by the Trump administration outlining demands that Harvard would have to satisfy to maintain its funding relationship with the federal government. These demands include audits of academic programs and departments, along with the viewpoints of students, faculty, and staff, and changes to the university's governance structure and hiring practices.
The $9 billion under review by the government includes $256 million in research support for Harvard, plus $8.7 billion in future commitments to the university and several renowned hospitals, among them Mass General, the Dana-Farber Cancer Institute, and Boston Children's.
Oh, good.
Yeah, fuck them kids. And can you guess what the Trump administration's response to this was? Late Monday, the Trump administration announced that it was moving to freeze $2.2 billion in grants and $60 million in contracts to Harvard. So they said no, and he pulled billions in funding, including funding for hospitals, as retribution for defying him. And I should mention something interesting about this, with Columbia, it was pointed out, because that's a lot of money that they do get from the federal government. But at this point, especially the private East Coast Ivy League schools in this country are essentially investment portfolios with a tiny little school attached. Mm-hmm. They have the money to weather much worse storms than this. And when people are like, okay, yeah, that's a lot of money, but the amount of money they're sitting on,
the billions are for future commitments, but
but it's still they'd be fine. They do not need to grovel and kowtow to the government.
Yeah. Having said that, a couple schools have just done that. So it's very noticeable. But look, at the very least, it kind of feels good that they pushed back.
Too little, too late.
Exactly. This should have been,
Anyway, the reporting continues. They add that Harvard is just one of dozens of schools targeted by the Trump administration in recent weeks. Last month, the Department of Education sent letters to 60 universities, including Columbia, Northwestern, the University of Michigan, and Tufts, threatening enforcement actions for non-compliance with anti-discrimination provisions in the Civil Rights Act of 1964. The administration has taken the additional step of freezing research funding at several institutions. And if you'd like to read the full statement, links to this and all other articles in the description below.
I was talking about it with a friend this weekend of just like the eventual effects of this just decimation of the government and research institutions and stuff. We like kind of just started finding out about microplastics in the past decade. Our lifespans are going to be shortened significantly by things we don't even fucking know about.
Yeah.
Like we're all gonna die 10 years early and we won't even fucking know what's killing us.
5 years ago, I didn't know what a microplastic was.
Now they're in my
I
balls.
do, and it's all I can think about.
Yeah.
And if we didn't have so much research funding, I would never hear about it.
Yeah,
and I'd be happier.
Meanwhile, I got a fucking 3D printer down there.
Yeah.
I'm just 3D printing all day long. Anyways, over in what the actual fuck news, it appears as though someone targeted the home of Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro, who was asleep with his family after enjoying some Passover dinner when part of his home was hit with incendiary devices and set on fire by a suspect who was apprehended and taken into custody after being treated for burns.
This was like, I don't know, maybe it was just like miscommunications in reporting, but like this was initially reported as like, oh, like someone tried to do a little bit of arson, but like, and then like an hour later, it's like, no, his fucking house was like on fire.
Yeah,
like,
the photos are very insane.
like the inside, like multiple rooms were just scorched.
And come to find out, like this was the intention, and the guy had even more violent intentions as well.
Yeah.
Here's CBS with more. A Pennsylvania man has been charged with attempted murder, terrorism, and other offenses after a fire at the governor's residence in Harrisburg forced Governor Josh Shapiro and his family to evacuate the home early Sunday morning, according to court documents filed in Dauphin County. Officials said Cody Balmer, 38, hopped a fence and intentionally set a fire at the residence early on Sunday, April 13th, while Shapiro and his family were home. Balmer of Harrisburg was charged Monday with criminal homicide/attempted murder, terrorism, aggravated arson, and more. Balmer was arraigned on the charges on Monday evening, and a judge denied bail.
Shapiro said the attack was targeted, but officials don't know Balmer's specific motive yet. This kind of violence is becoming far too common in our society, Shapiro said, and I don't give a damn if it's coming from one particular side or the other, directed at one particular party or another, or one particular person or another. It's not okay, and it has to stop. We have to be better than this. We have a responsibility to be better. Balmer's mother, Christy Balmer, told CBS News her son is mentally ill and he went off his medication. Christy Balmer said she tried to get her son picked up last week and reached out to 4 different police departments, but couldn't get anyone to help. So he was mentally ill, went off his meds, and this is what happened.
She's tried 4 different times to get the cops, like, hey, my son's fucked up. He's going to do some fucked up shit.
What do you want us to do? Shoot him? No,
don't shoot him. But look, we have 2 options. We either don't come out.
You think he's going to do anything that might let us shoot him over it?
I don't know, maybe. Well, okay, now we're talking.
During an interview with Pennsylvania State Police, Balmer admitted he hated Shapiro, removed gasoline from a lawnmower and poured it into beer bottles before walking an hour to the governor's residence and throwing the homemade Molotov cocktails into the home, the criminal complaint said. When asked what he would have done if confronted by the governor while inside the residence, the complaint said Balmer stated he would have beaten him with his hammer. In the Oval Office on Monday, President Trump condemned the attack. The attacker basically wasn't a fan of anybody, probably just a whack job, Trump said. And certainly a thing like that cannot be allowed to happen.
Okay, well, seems like he probably would have taken that a lot more seriously if someone from his party made it a whole big thing.
Who's to say? There's a lot of crazies out there.
Yeah. Anyways, I went to BernieChella this past weekend.
Didn't he go to actual Coachella?
He did actually, which I think. Look,
how does that work? Like what? I completely missed. I was busy all weekend.
He introduced an artist and he basically gave a condensed version of the speech that he has been giving. Him and AOC have been giving, which basically. It boils down to they've obviously been warning of a coming oligarchy.
Right.
It's here.
Yeah.
It's happening. What the fuck are we going to do about it? And basically pointing at elected officials that are aligning with Trump's plans and saying we have to vote them out. So they're going location, state by state, and specifically in Southern California, like, hey, here's the people in California who have enabled Trump's actions. They are the ones that have to go. We need all of your help. In a sense, like it was a fun event. Maggie Rogers, Joan Baez was there, fucking Neil Young. It was incredible. But it also makes you... It's a good experience because, you're watching online. We're creating stuff for online. Everyone's fucking so just isolated these days.
Yeah.
It actually is it feels very good to be in a location with a lot of like-minded individuals who just don't know what to do, but want to be present and do something and are just looking for the guidance of where to be pointed. And
Massive rally too, like 50,000 people.
35,000 people, like a very big rally, but also they went to like Idaho and told lots of people. And I think one of the most important things that I saw this weekend was, if the Democratic Party was smart, which it's not.
No.
It's very stupid. If the Democratic Party was smart, they would look at these rallies and say, wow, people are really fired up. And look at the attention they're giving. And they seem to be ready and active and wanting to participate and enact change. Should we concentrate on that? Or should we concentrate on fucking Chuck Schumer doing a book tour that he can't even do because people are angry at him for voting with Trump? But then, yes, he actually, which I thought was maybe more beneficial, he actually showed up at Coachella, which I'm sure bummed a lot of fucking people in the audience out. Maybe they were rolling or drunk and were like, shit, now I have to get talked to. But very noticeable. The past two protests or rallies that I went to, and a lot of people agree, no Gen Z at all. No young people. Young people, I understand, very busy. Life is tough. It would really help out if a lot more young people came out to these events. And I think it's very smart that he did go to Coachella and meet them where they're at. Having said that, fucking just show up. I showed up to Occupy. It was essentially fucking pointless by then, but at least I fucking showed up, and it kind of started my interest in a lot of stuff. So go enjoy these rallies, but also listen to the speeches, and figure out organizations in your community that you can help out with, sign up for. They can guide you in the right directions. It was great though. I've been showing photos and videos from it while we've been talking about it. But having said that, that's it for today's episode. Please like the video. I know it's not exactly always the best news, but if you give the video a like, it helps us grow, or at least helps us sustain. Also, by the way, if you want to contribute to the channel, I made a new, like, if you just want to be like, guys, here's $3. I made a new member thing. Where you can, if
is it like
cheap,
a tiny hand?
Yeah, it doesn't do like the metal hands or anything, but if you just want to contribute, there's a new membership tier. So thank you for doing that. But it always just means a lot if you hit the like button, leave a comment, and stay tuned for our other videos. And also watch our most recent videos over here. We have a combination news dump weekly weird, the same way they put Pizza Hut and Taco Bell together. We're getting weird with it. Check both those videos out, and we'll see you soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye.